Hi, in this video we're going to look at some more sample questions and answers for part 1 of the IELTS speaking test. Now recently I had someone request some questions and answers on the topic of games. So that's what we're going to look at in this video, thinking about the topic of games. So let's get straight into it and look at the 4 sample questions before we look at the answers. So the first question is, what games are popular in your country? Now this type of question is quite common. It's asking us what games are popular in our country. Now it's quite common because the idea of asking about something that is popular in your country often comes up in the test. Now, it might not be about games, but it could be about some other kind of topic. But a very common style of question, so a good one to practice. Let's have a look at the second question on games. Do you play any games? So a very short, simple question there, a do you question, and again focused on the topic of games, but more focused on you and what you do rather than what people in your country do, or what people in the country find popular. So let's move on to the third question. That is, how do people learn to play games in your country? So another in your country question, but a bit different, right? How do people learn to play games? So a bit more challenging maybe, but again, quite a short and simple question there. Focus on learning to play games. Let's have a look at the final question, and that is, do you think it's important for people to play games? So another do you question, but a bit different. Do you think it's important for people to play games? But again, the focus of the question is playing games. So there we go. We've got those 4 questions there. And in general here, they are kind of like opinion questions, apart from the second one, which was asking if you play any games. Now we've had a look at those 4 questions, let's have a look at some sample answers that show really high-level answers that the kind of answer that a Band 9 student would give. So let's start with the first question. What games are popular in your country? Well, if we can consider sports as games, then football is definitely the most popular game in my country. But we also love board games like chess. So that's the first question and sample answer there. You can see the answer keeps it quite simple. Really, we only actually have 1 sentence there. But I don't think we need a second sentence here, just because that 1 sentence is quite long and provides enough detail to fully answer the question. Also, the speaker shows that they're thinking about the question a lot and showing that they're thinking about what kind of games the examiner means. Like some people could get confused whether they mean sports or video games or board games. So we've made it clear at the beginning of the answer with the phrase, if we can consider sports as games, then, and followed by the answer about sport. And we chose the sport of football. And again, we've copied words from the question. It's definitely the most popular. So we've used that word popular that was in the question, but we've said, well, the most popular. We've used the superlative there in my country. But then also we've added a bit more detail using the word but, and then we also love board games like chess, so a different type of game. So we've shown that we understand that, well, football is a game, and also board games are games like chess. So we've given 2 different types of games that are popular. Nice clear answer there, long enough, and gives enough detail to fully answer what is asked in the question. So let's move on to the second question and look at the sample answer for that. Do you play any games? Not regularly these days. I play the occasional game of tennis with a close friend, and I recently played a football game on the PlayStation with a friend. I wasn't very good at it. So, there we go. There's the second question and the answer to that question. Quite a simple question. Do you play any games? And we need a clear answer to start with, and we've given that with the short sentence, not regularly these days. We haven't actually copied any words from the question there, but we do in the following sentence. We have a second sentence here, which just explains a little bit about the games that I do play, but not regularly. I play the occasional game of tennis. So we've just shown a bit of kind of with the vocabulary there by saying occasional game, right? To explain that, well, I don't do it regularly. So it's an occasional game. And also we've given another type of game. I recently played a football game on the PlayStation. So this would be a video game. Not a sport or a board game. Another type of game to show our knowledge of this topic. So that explains the answer a little bit, and we've given a tiny bit of extra detail at the end saying I wasn't very good at it. So yeah, it keeps it nice and clear. We're showing a bit of variety with tenses there, that we're talking about things that we did in the past. So that's going to improve the score for grammatical range as well. So a nice, clear and good answer. You'll also notice there that it is actually a 3-sentence answer, but because 2 of the sentences are very short, it's not too long as a part 1 answer. Let's keep going and have a look at the third question and answer. How do people learn to play games in your country? I think children teach each other to play games. I remember a friend at primary school teaching me to play chess, for example. So there we go, a nice simple answer there, 2 sentences to the question, how do people learn to play games in your country? We've shown that it is an opinion in the answer by using the phrase I think, and then we've given the direct answer. Well, I think children teach each other to play games. So nice and clear. We're not using the word learn there. We're using the opposite word, teach, but it's got really the same meaning in this sentence as it does in the question. And then afterwards, we just kind of give an example or explain a bit more by talking about ourselves and what we did as a child. I remember a friend at primary school teaching me to play chess, for example. Again, some of you might see here that we've got the phrase, for example, at the end of the sentence, which is fine. You'll more commonly see it at the beginning of the sentence, but it is also fine to have it at the end. It's quite natural for native speakers to do this. So there we go, a nice clear 2-sentence answer there to that third question. Let's move to the fourth and final question and look at the sample answer for that. Do you think it's important for people to play games? Yes, it's really important, especially for children. I think research has shown that play can improve brain development, intelligence, creativity, and the ability to cooperate with others. So there we go, that's the answer. Nice clear answer with 2 sentences. The first sentence gives a nice direct answer. It's a do you question, so you can see there we've answered with the word yes. And then we've copied the word important from the question. It's really important. Then I've given the answer even more focus by focusing on children, especially for children. It's not quite enough, so we've added a second sentence kind of explaining a little bit more and why it's good or important for children to play games. And it says here, I think research has shown that people can, or that play can improve brain development, intelligence, creativity, and the ability to cooperate with others. So giving some nice examples there of why it's important. And and some nice vocabulary, I guess, when we're listing these nouns, that things that are important. So there we have it. Those are the 4 questions and sample answers for part 1 on the topic of games. Again, you can see that we're keeping it short and simple, but again, not too short. You don't want to give answers that are giving kind of short 1-sentence answers or single word answers. That would be terrible. You want to really show the examiner your English skills. But again, you don't want to give answers that are too long. And these answers that you can see here are appropriate length, or are an appropriate length of answer. So there we go. I hope that was useful. And I think in future videos, we'll be looking at some more topics, some different topics for part 1 of the IELTS speaking test, and also other parts of the test. We've also had a few more requests on topics for future videos, so I'll be trying to get them done as quickly as possible so we can cover some of the requested topics. But there we have it. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to click like. And if you don't want to miss any future videos on similar topics, then do click the subscribe button. There we have it. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next video.